Hey everyone, this is Cassidy with Replay Games. Just wanted to share a little something that we got in the store randomly. I came across an advertisement for these gaming gloves, they're called. So you can see that there. They are apparently designed and engineered by a gamer that works for them, and he was working with the team at MIBR. I don't know if it's MIBR, MIBR, as well as the Immortals gaming groups. They're apparently professional gamers, and I don't know if they play Dota or not, but the glove struck me. I was like, I've used ironclad gloves back in my days of towing, and so I reached out to them. I was like, hey, would we be able to maybe get some sort of deal set up with them to maybe sell these in stores if there's interest in them, and they offered to give me some free samples. And so I was going to inbox a set so you can see them. Tell me what you guys think. You can come into the store and check them out. First things first, when we're going to put these gloves on, we'll put hand sanitizer on just to try to be COVID friendly and all that stuff. But figured at least kind of go over what the gloves are about. There's a couple different options and sizes. I'll try to get them all into the shot here for you guys. So there's the two different team ones, the Immortals and the MIBR. And then there's a console gaming glove. And so the PC ones are really interesting. They have a pad for keyboard, padding support for your ergonomics and your wrist and stuff, and then a nice slip resistant or maybe more slippery type material on the right hand side for the mouse movement. And then the gloves are really thin material for like the console side that'll be able to grab your controller and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll go ahead and open up a box here and we'll go from there. Alright, so they are designed and made to be for gamers with gaming in mind. And so they have a couple different features here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it too well or not, but I'll read them off to you. We got a ergonomic cuff system, which not really sure how that's going to be ergonomic, but basically it's a wrist strap, so it's adjustable for the tightness of what you'd like. What I'm curious to know if it's going to be interesting is for sweaty palms. It's a sweat wipe thumb on here. The material is supposed to be sweat wicking, or wicking I guess is just the term, but anyways, breathable fabric. It's very thin. Precision fingertips, which I'm curious to know what that's supposed to be about. The cool thing is that the material will work with your touch screens, so that's interesting. Yeah, here's where it talks about moisture wicking construction. So. And then it's got a performance grip and precision fitting. So that is what that's all about. We'll go ahead and open it. There are some plastic tape tabs on the sides that I've already cut here. And so we'll go ahead and open it here and get it open that way. Looks like there are two of these restraining, I don't know, clips if you want to call them. They're those plastic deals. We'll cut those off. And then we'll flip that open. I'll grab the other two on this side. One, two, off to the side there. So yeah, the material is very thin, but it's also got a little bit of foam padding on that pinky, which I'm curious about, and then kind of like feels like a fake leather inside here. So these gloves are going to be too small for me, so I'm not going to try these ones on. I got a pair that I'm going to keep for myself for testing, so I'll try those on next. Alright, so I got one set of the computer ones that I was going to hold for myself, and then a set of the gaming gloves I was going to hold as well, but you're welcome to come in and try them on and see what you think of them. I just was going to put them on, and over time I'll kind of give my impressions as far as how they feel, and then I want to plan to use them for a bit just to see if there's any. I mean, I'm not really looking to increase my performance at all, but I'm curious to know, especially with if you struggle with fingers and palms getting sweaty from some of those intenser games. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and try a pair on here. The console gaming ones, they have our full finger grips, and then the PC ones are half finger length. So, but they're precision fit, so they're going to be pretty tight to put on. But they're definitely a thinner material. And so one of my initial thoughts about this material is when I was driving tow truck, there was these tabs that help you pull these on, and there's just a little grip thing here. So I expect that this will tear eventually, because that always happened to me when I was driving tow truck. That was pretty much the only reason why I'd ever replaced my gloves. Actually, it was because of that spot tearing on me from the amount of times I had to put them on and off. So, but yeah, so you can adjust the strap however you need. They are a very tight fit. I mean, my fingertips are going all the way to the end, which is interesting. But then what I thought was really fascinating at first is I was expecting the leather part to be a little bit more grippy, but it's actually pretty slick. It definitely has a lot less grippiness than I was expecting to, and so my only concern is it going to cause issues sliding off the thumbstick at all? It's hard to say. It seems like it would be, with the leather against the rubber thumbsticks, it might be okay, but that'd be one of my biggest concerns is for more of the intense action games that require a lot of control movement. So, but other than that, it does feel pretty good. I mean, if you're comfortable wearing gloves, I should say, from all my days driving tow truck, I mean, these are definitely not going to be working gloves. They are going to be for this kind of style. If I try to bring these to work, they would tear instantly just because they are definitely not a very thick material. The foam padding is interesting. I don't know how necessary that is, but it does kind of help. I don't know if you can see that where the controller sits in my palms, it kind of sits almost to where that padding is, so it's kind of almost like a support holding spot for it. So interesting to see how that'll work for that. But yeah, and then the back of the thumbs here are meant for wicking your sweat away from your eyebrows or whatever. They're meant to be an absorbing pad there. But then the inside of the fingers here is a really sheer material. I mean, it's almost see-through. It's so thin. And then the tops are supposed to be very breathable as well. So that is what the gaming gloves look like. And like I said, it's got that adjustable straps on the side there. And getting them off is actually kind of a challenge because they're a little bit more, like I said, they're not going to be grabbing. So it's hard to, they're so tight against my skin that it's hard to get a good holding to start pulling them off here. So, so that could also increase or decrease rather, its durability from you trying to pull them off. So keep that in mind as well. But they are definitely an interesting breathable material that I think, especially for those that are trying to find alternatives to sweaty palms, that would be something to take a look at. So get some more of the hand sanitizer on here just because it's going to be what we require for everybody to want to try these gloves on anyways. That, the whole COVID thing, we got to be careful. So get that all rubbed in here. So anyways, open it the same way. And I've already had these on before to get some initial impressions, but yeah, so the same kind of wrist strap here, they're going to be very tight to get on. My hands are, it's a precision fit, so they're meant to be pretty tight, it seems like. So get that to where you want it. We'll do the same for the other side. The other thing that's kind of funny too is I took my ring off because I usually have an eagle ring it was my class reunion or graduating ring that my grandma bought for me. That it has trouble with these gloves because they're so tight, so I've had to take that off. But my wedding ring is low profile enough that it didn't have any issues there. So on the bottoms here, you'll see that they look different, and that's intentionally of their design. Like I said, there's this pad here that when you're pressing your keys, you got your WASD over here. There's a little bit more support there for you to rest your hand on. So that'll be interesting to see if that really makes it. I know they say it's more ergonomic, but is it really going to make that big of a difference for that, 1/16 of an inch extra padding versus just having your hand down on the table or your desk, which I personally have never had any issues with on my keyboard side just because I have a keyboard pad already for wrist rest, I think is what it's called. Interesting with both gloves, they have these little flared tips here, which I think is kind of funny just because I feel like that would be a easy thing for it to tear off over the long term, but extra little design look anyways for that. This literally can't serve any other purpose in my opinion. So, but like I said, different material on this side that's or rather it's not slip resistance, but it's supposed to help with slipping or making it easier for your hand to have that mouse and move it on your mouse pad there. So I'd be curious to know what their long-term durability is between the glove wearing out, or is it going to wear more onto your mouse pad, or is it going to make a nice little polished spot on your desk from all that rubbing there? So yeah, so that is how the half finger gloves look like, and then the other ones are the Miber ones I was talking about. They're just a different color, but they're the exact same style gloves. So something interesting that came across my lap anyways, and I figured, you know, hey, they're willing to send me some free samples that I would love to get my hands on, quite literally, so we can take a look at them. They do feel good for having worn plenty of different types of gloves with my towing career, and so looking at it for more of a leisure activity for the mouse and keyboard movement as well as controller. This material here is a little bit more rubbery and grippy, so that's kind of what I was expecting on the controller gloves, but that's not the case on the controller ones. The controller ones are more of a fake leather, whereas this one definitely has more of a rubberized texture on it for, I don't know. The mouse makes sense so it doesn't get away from you, but I don't know how you'd put it on the keyboard side then as well. So, but yeah, I'll be interested in checking them out and testing them and go from there and see what happens. But thanks, guys.